Okay, so picture this. A super notorious cybercriminal, one of the biggest in the world, gets publicly busted by law enforcement. Their whole operation? Crushed. Their network? Gone. And then they come back. And they're even stronger than before. That is the wild story we're getting into today. The crazy return of a cyber thief called LummaStealer.
And that's the big question researchers were asking themselves, right? I mean, when a massive criminal operation gets taken down, you kind of expect it to stay down. But this one didn't. So how on earth did they pull that off? All right, let's unpack this whole investigation. So first things first, we really need to get to know the main villain of our story, because this isn't just some random piece of malware. This thing is an absolute heavyweight in the cybercrime underworld.
Yeah, LummaStealer was no small fry. It first showed up in late 2022, and by the middle of the 2020s, it was a global problem. Law enforcement had this huge victory in May of 2025. They took down over 2,000 of its domains. You'd think that's case closed, right? Nope, not even close. By early 2026, researchers started noticing a massive new surge. The ghost was back. So what exactly is LummaStealer? Well, think of it like a specialized thief for the digital world. It gets onto Windows computers, and its one and only job is to steal your most valuable digital stuff. Your passwords, your active login sessions, and, this is a big one, the keys to your cryptocurrency wallets. It is brutally effective at what it does. So the key to LummaStealer's big comeback wasn't just that it was tough to kill. No, it was a new partnership. It found itself a partner in crime, a really sophisticated accomplice that helped it get right back in the game, totally under the radar. And this accomplice is something we call a malware loader. You can think of it like a stealthy, unmarked delivery van. Its only job is to sneak past all the security, drop off its malicious package, which in this case is LummaStealer, and then just vanish like it was never there. And this super effective delivery service? It's got a name, Castle Loader. This is the piece of the puzzle that gave LummaStealer a second life. So what makes Castle Loader such a perfect criminal partner? Well, for starters, it runs almost completely in the computer's memory. That's like a burglar who never leaves a single fingerprint at the crime scene. It also uses what we call heavy code obfuscation. Basically, it writes its plans in a secret, constantly shifting language that security software just can't decipher. It's slippery, it's flexible, and it is built for stealth. Okay, so we've got the thief and the getaway driver, but how do they even get to you to begin with? Well, this is where the story stops being about high-tech code and starts being about good old-fashioned deception. And get this. This is the most important part. They don't hack their way in. They trick you into unlocking the front door and inviting them right inside. The entire operation depends on social engineering. That's the art of manipulating people into doing things they shouldn't. So what's the bait look like? Well, it's all the stuff we're sometimes tempted to look for online for free. We're talking fake, cracked versions of popular video editors, installers for games that don't even exist, or torrents for movies that haven't even been released yet. They'll even disguise the malware as a tool promising to speed up your computer. Every single one is a trap, perfectly designed to look like something you actually want. One of their most devious tricks is called the click fix attack. You'll land on a website that has one of those prove you're human boxes, but while you're looking at it, the site is secretly copying a malicious command to your clipboard. Then it gives you simple instructions. Hey, just press the Windows key plus R, paste what's in there, and hit enter to continue. And just like that, you've personally run the malware on your own computer. It is a terrifyingly simple and effective trick. So with malware this sneaky, how in the world did researchers ever figure out how to track it? Well, like a lot of criminals, Castle Loader made a mistake. A tiny, repetitive, and in the end, a totally fatal error. Researchers were digging through mountains of code when they started finding lines like this one. At first glance, it just looks like a bunch of nonsense, right? Some weird command trying to ping a web address that's just gibberish. But this was the smoking gun. See, this wasn't just random junk code. It was a fingerprint. A unique signature that the malware left behind everywhere it went. This was the big clue. It was this weird little digital tick. Castle Loader would always try to ping a domain that didn't exist. It was always a random string of letters just repeated twice. This guaranteed failure was like a killer leaving the same unique calling card at every single crime scene. It was the break the researchers desperately needed. And once they had that fingerprint, they could finally start connecting the dots. They were able to identify hundreds of malicious samples that all tied back to the same castle loader campaigns. It revealed the true, terrifying scale of LummaStealer's comeback. So, figuring out how they did it is one thing. But what's the actual cost to the people who get hit by this? Because once LummaStealer gets on your system, the damage is fast and it is severe. And the amount of stuff it steals is just staggering. It's not just grabbing your passwords. It's stealing your active login cookies, which means attackers can get into your accounts without even needing your password. It targets dozens of different crypto wallets. It can steal your two-factor authentication codes. It goes after personal documents, photos. It even takes screenshots of your screen. It is a total and complete violation of your digital life. And the end result of all that stolen data is just devastating. The criminals can take over your email, they can drain your bank accounts, steal your identity, and in some cases, they can use your personal files to blackmail you. The damage from this can last for years. Okay, after all of that, I know the most important question on your mind is, how do you stop this from happening to you? The good news is, the ways to defend yourself are actually pretty straightforward. Because these attacks really rely on you, the user, your best defense is just being cautious. First and foremost, do not download pirated software or any files from shady websites. And if a website ever tells you to run a command using win plus R, just close that tab immediately. It is always a trap. And if you think you've been hit, you have to act fast. Change every single important password, log out of all your accounts everywhere, and honestly, the safest possible move is to completely reinstall your operating system to make absolutely sure the threat is gone. You know, this whole story really brings us to one final, really important question. The criminals behind LummaStealer aren't using some impossible, groundbreaking hack. They're exploiting human nature. It really makes you wonder, in this endless game of cat and mouse, is our own awareness, our own skepticism, the most powerful security tool we actually have?